Anxiety and fear aren't signs of weakness. They're natural brain responses to situations it perceives as threats. The problem begins when this response becomes constant, even when there's no real danger. In this video, you'll learn how these feelings are formed and what you can do to interrupt them using practical techniques that help you take back control of your mind.
How anxiety and fear are formed in the brain.
Every time you feel anxious or afraid, one particular part of your brain takes the lead, the amygdala. This small structure located in the most primitive area of the brain acts like an alarm system. It spots potential threats and triggers automatic reactions, like a racing heart, muscle tension, or that sense of urgency. The problem? The amygdala doesn't know the difference between a real threat and an imagined one, so it reacts the same whether you're facing a lion or just stressing over a meeting. And there's more. The prefrontal cortex, the rational thinking part of your brain, often takes a back seat when the amygdala kicks in. That's why, under the effects of fear or anxiety, you might act impulsively, jump to worst-case scenarios, or feel totally out of control. Over time, this response can become a pattern. The brain learns to react the same way, even when there's no reason to. That's because the brain loves repetition. And every time you react with fear, that path gets stronger. This is where exposure therapy comes in. It involves gradually facing what scares you most. Because the more you avoid it, the more your brain sees it as a threat. And the stronger the fear becomes.
Knowing it doesn't make sense isn't enough.
Just knowing something is irrational doesn't mean you'll stop feeling afraid. That's because fear isn't created by logic. It's built from emotional experiences and repeated physical sensations. Even when your prefrontal cortex knows there's no danger, your amygdala has already learned to respond automatically. And it's fast. Before your rational brain can assess the situation, your emotional system has already triggered symptoms. Racing heart, muscle tension, shallow breathing, heightened alertness. Take the fear of elevators, for example. Rationally, we know it's one of the safest ways to get around, but your body might still react like you're in danger. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got that fear too. And it's not about logic. It's the amygdala doing its thing. That's why so many people say, I know it doesn't make sense, but I can't control it. And they're right. It has a neurological basis. The brain creates shortcuts, called conditioned neural pathways, that make your body react before you even have time to think. And the more you try not to feel fear, the more attention you give it. This heightens your emotional response. The brain sees your focus as a sign that it's important, and it reinforces the fear. So the goal isn't to fight fear, it's to change how you relate to it.
Practical techniques to break the anxiety and fear cycle.
The real key is learning how to break that automatic cycle. And it starts with small, conscious actions. One simple and powerful technique is diaphragmatic breathing. When you breathe deeply and slowly, it activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part that calms the body. This sends a direct message to your brain, everything's fine. That message alone starts to calm the amygdala. But here's an important detail. Lots of people take a deep breath during a panic attack and still don't feel calm. That's because the amygdala works like a muscle. You can't lift 100 pounds if you've never trained. Your body won't respond. Same goes for emotional control. It needs to be trained. And the best training for this? Meditation. Regular practice strengthens your brain's ability to handle stress, making the amygdala's reactions more regulated and less impulsive. Picture two people. Anna's afraid of confined spaces. She steps into an elevator and it stops for 3 seconds. Enough to trigger full-blown panic. Bruna has the same fear, but she meditates daily. When the elevator stops, she still feels uncomfortable, but she's more in control. The fear doesn't take over. And yes, I know a lot of people have tried meditation and felt like it doesn't work, but it's just like working out. You won't feel the results on day one. Change comes with repetition. The more consistent the practice, the stronger your self-regulation muscle gets. Another helpful tool is grounding. Staying present in the moment. When anxiety hits, focus on your 5 senses. Look at something in front of you, touch a cool surface, listen to surrounding sounds. This helps shut off the disaster movie playing in your head and brings your brain back to the present, where most of the time, there's no real danger. And again, meditation helps make this process smoother. You can also rewire your emotional response with something called controlled exposure. Facing your fears in a gradual, safe way teaches your brain that those things aren't as dangerous as they seem. These techniques won't magically cure fear overnight, but the more you practice them, the more your brain learns that it doesn't need to be on high alert all the time.
How to maintain progress in daily life.
Your brain needs repetition to learn. That's why techniques like meditation, mindful breathing, and gradual exposure work. They create new, more stable neural pathways. But these only grow stronger with regular use. Deep breathing only helps if you do it regularly, not just when panic hits. It needs to become part of your routine, like brushing your teeth. Same with meditation. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day can start to rewire how your brain handles stress. Another key strategy is separating yourself from your thoughts. You're not anxiety, you're experiencing anxiety. That small shift in language can make a big difference in how you handle your emotions. And the more you practice this, the more emotional independence you gain. Progress may be subtle, but it's steady. Over time, the things that used to trigger fear begin to lose their power, not because the fear disappears, but because you stop feeding it. Check out the other videos on the channel. They'll help you go even further on this journey.